We're still from Mr. Sami Uy.
Okay. Mr. Chair, meron po bang taga-AMLAC dito? Is anyone from AMLAC still here?
Your Honor, I think they have already left.
Oh.
Earlier, they were here.
Because I think just like what Congressman John said earlier, that it would be imperative to actually verify these allegations from former Senator Trillanes
Yes.
regarding the bank accounts, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And there are two ways at least that we can think of. Initially, yung waiver po, yun ang pinakamabilis. Since 2016, I've been challenging Duterte about it. Pero he's been squirming and every time, tapos pag nako-corner, he will divert the issue, he will create a scene. So that's, kumaga, we can rule that out. Ano? Hindi pipirma ng waiver po ito. Then the other way na napasok po sa exemption sa Bank Secrecy Act is yung impeachment. So sa impeachment po, lalabas po ito. At makikita po natin yung laman loob nitong mga bank accounts po na ito.
Okay. You will forgive me if I am skeptical because especially since we don't actually have the documents to base our or your allegations on. So-
I understand, Mr. Chairman.
Also, based on your information that you gathered from your sources, are there other people other people receiving money from Mr. Sami Uy outside of the family of the former president, if that is the case?
Wala po kaming nakuhang information about that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, I think we also need to check with the SEC or the DTI or the BIR regarding the businesses of Mr. Sami Uy, so that we can verify the allegations of former Senator Trillanes.
Mr. Chairman, we might as well include the properties of Mr. Sami Uy. At we also got information that siya rin yung mga nagtatago ng mga ibang properties ni Mr. Duterte.
Yes, we will leave that to the COMSEC and the chairman to decide. And so, former Senator, I think it was you who showed the video regarding Senator Bato saying that Peter Lim is one of the biggest drug lords here in the country. Was it you who showed it earlier?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Who is Peter Lim?
Well, the first time I heard his name was when he was being identified as one of the drug lords linked to Mr. Kerwin Espinosa. And during those hearings, I asked Mr. Bato de la Rosa, who is the biggest drug lord? Because as the PNP chief, who is the primary implementer of the war on drugs of the president, he should know the enemies that he's after. So ang sinabi po niya clearly si Peter Lim, Mr. Chairman.
Peter Lim. Would PIDEA have details about this personality, this Peter Lim?
We will check, Mr. Chair. We will check on our records.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is another question for the PIDEA. Has he ever been a subject of any report or investigation on your agency, from your agency?
The same, sir, we will check with our records.
From the top of your mind, you don't know if he was ever in your radar or was he ever investigated?
We still don't know about his participation, but we will dig with our records with the Region 7, Mr. Chair, because it was mentioned here that he's from Cebu City, Peter Lim.
So you don't currently have anything to share right now about Mr. Peter Lim?
None, Mr. Chair.
Okay. May I know if there is any reason why he has never been a subject of investigation from the PIDEA, considering that Senator Bato himself, when he was the chief PNP, said that this is the biggest drug lord in the country?
I will not say that there is no report, sir, but we will check on our records. Because that was, I think, 2016 or
Okay.
2017.
I understand. Do you have anything, do you know anything about his visit to PIDEA Region 11 in Davao City when he met with former President Duterte during that time? Do you know anything about that meeting?
We are looking who is the Region 11 regional director at that time, Mr. Chair. That
I'm
was also 2016 or 2017.
I think
We are
that
checking
was
with
in-
our records who is that regional director. You said sir, the Director Albani, which is not now in PIDEA.
So, but you can confirm that this meeting happened in July of 2016.
Not yet, Mr. Chair. We are still investigating on that.
Okay. May I ask the NBI? Sir, was there ever any case regarding Peter Lim in 2018 related to drug trading and conspiracy?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, I remember we subjected Mr. Peter Lim this humble representation, Attorney Galicia and another agent, Agent Otik, sometime in 2017, 18, thereabouts.
Okay.
And we finished, and when he came out of the NBI, we were met by media representatives. He was not supposed to be exposed to the media, but I could not. I was the spokesperson of the NBI at that time. I could not avoid the media because there was only one lobby at the old NBI in Taft Avenue, and I just have to make do. And I remember I got a dressing down for exposing him to media.
Dressing down from whom?
I remember there was a call the following day from Malacanang. I do not have the number. I could not get the details of the caller. It says just call on my phone. Why do I have to do that? It was totally unnecessary.
How do you know that it was someone from Malacanang?
I remember it was from the Presidential Communications Office. And but before I went down to the lobby of the NBI, I sought clearance from my director, Director Dante Giran. If I have to answer the media, he said, go ahead.
So you were given the clearance, and then it could not be avoided that Peter Lim had to go through the lobby, and he was exposed to the media, and then someone from Malacanang called you, and you had a dressing down
The following day.
the following day.
The call came the following day. Peter Lim was to go out of the NBI in the afternoon after our interview at the conference room of the old NBI at Taft Avenue. We have to go down, and the lobby then was the old Taft Avenue. That's where the media gathered. I could not avoid exposing him to the media. I remember I only answered very few of the media questions. I said, you better ask him. There was a newspaper grab at that time, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, showing me and Mr. Peter Lim and the other NBI agents that escorted us out of the NBI lobby.
What happened to Mr. Peter Lim during that day?
The
Was he released?
Yes, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, because he was not under arrest. He was not also under custody. He was turned over, or we fetched him, I remember, to the NBI for questioning. And Attorney Galicia here was with me in that panel at the conference room. If I may ask the
But let's
chair.
go back to that call from Malacanang. Why would someone from Malacanang call you and give you a dressing down for exposing Peter Lim when he's supposed to be a drug lord?
I can only surmise, Mr. Chair, that my handling of exposing him was not appropriate at that time, considering that we have not filed a case or we have not completed the investigation. But again, I will honestly tell this commission that there was no way for me to avoid the media crowd gathered at the lobby of the NBI.
What could have been the reason why, in your opinion, someone would call you from Malacanang and berate you for the way that you handled it?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, that may have displeased them. Or to their displeasure. Again,
Why would it displease someone from Malacanang?
I do not want to speculate until this time. It still bothers me, but I just have to do my job, and I have to uh, uh, yield to them, Mr. Chair, Your Honors.
Was that the last time that we heard of Mr. Peter Lim?
That was the last time, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, that I saw him at the NBI grounds.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more questions.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
thank you, Congressman Suwan. Yes, Congresswoman Jing Iluistro.
I wish to direct this question to Senator Trillanes. Senator, of course, it is very much apparent that the former president has this animosity against you. And he's very vocal about that, even during interviews. Can you please enlighten us? Saan ho ba nagmumula itong, or nag-umpisa, itong animosity na ito?
Palagay ko po, dahil sa Davao ho, hindi sanay sila ng walang tumitindig sa kanya, no? So that's one. And another is, alam niya na na-decode ko na siya. So kumbaga yung all the charade, nababasa ko na po, Mr. Chairman.
So would you say that this animosity has something to do with the Senate investigation that you initiated and conducted?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And even before that, when I openly opposed him during the campaign of 2016, Mr. Chairman.
Which happened first, the campaign or the Senate investigation?
The campaign started first,
I
Mr.
see.
Chairman.
So the first rivalry, should I say, or opposition happened because of the campaign,
Yes,
and
Mr.
then it was followed sometime thereafter by the Senate investigation on their possible involvement on dangerous drugs. Tama po ba?
Nung una po, yung Senate investigations, it's about the extrajudicial killings. Itong mga, ano po, yung involvement nila sa illegal drugs came after bumaliktad po si Mr. Las Cañas at nalaman namin yung inside story.
Please enlighten us, Senator. Anong taon po yung nagkalaban po ba kayo sa election?
Hindi po. I was supporting a different presidential candidate
see.
in 2016.
So that was 2016.
Yes.
How about your investigation on EJK? Anong taon po ito?
2016, around July or August, Mr. Chairman.
So it's also 2016,
Yes.
month of August. And then you said it was followed by the revelation coming from Colonel Las Cañas. Kailan po nangyari itong kay Colonel Las Cañas, which prompted you to conduct an investigation on dangerous drugs?
Yes, around February. Oh, no. Initially, ma'am, when he turned as a witness, he was just only revealing information about his involvement in extrajudicial killings. And that period was a very short period because immediately the DOJ fast-tracked cases against him. So we needed to get him out of the country at that time. So then we only got to find out about all this involvement in illegal drugs by Duterte himself when he started giving the information as an insider, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, I understand that you are associated with the former Senator De Lima. What is your appreciation about the seeming similar animosity of the former president against Senator De Lima?
It's the same, Mr. Chairman, because Senator De Lima, when she was still the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights, investigated Duterte for the EJ case in Davao. And according to the testimony of Mr. Matobato and eventually Mr. Las Cañas, Mr. Duterte was really bothered by that investigation. He really feared that he would be made to account for all the killings he did in Davao. So eventually, when the opportunity came, when he was president, he wanted to make a sample out of Senator De Lima so that it would create a chilling effect among the senators, and it was very effective. He totally fabricated the cases against Senator De Lima, and most of of my colleagues in the Senate then feared that whatever is happening to Senator De Lima at the time could happen to them if they don't follow his lead or be an obstacle to his designs.
Senator Trillanes,
Apo.
with all due respect, but I share the observation of the Honorable Flores with respect to establishing the veracity of the evidence, should I say, that you shared before the Quad Committee. Nonetheless, Mr. Senator, I acknowledge the efforts of having consolidated all those, and at the very least, I maintain that at least it could establish the fact that you consolidated, you were able to read, you were able to take possession of all these documents that you presented before the Quad Committee. But to conclude, Mr. Senator,
Yes.
considering the amount and the evidence that you have presented to us, how certain are you that the Duterte family, particularly the former president, Polong, Congressman Polong, and the husband of the vice president are indeed involved in dangerous drugs?
I'm 100% sure, Mr. Chairman. These were corroborated by other sources of information. And during our research, we were able to establish the background or the involvement of Mr. Polong Duterte in smuggling cases independent of the testimony or information coming from Mr. Las Cañas. This is from the NBI and the Presidential Anti-Smuggling Group. And Mr. Las Cañas, again, as a witness, he was already, he went through the very rigorous process of being accepted as an ICC witness. He went through this weeks-long process of vetting and validation, and he checked out as the primary witness of the prosecution against Mr. Duterte. So if these professional investigators and lawyers were able to check him out, then I would have to follow suit. So we would have our own ways of weighing testimonies or the truthfulness of witnesses before us. And I would have to say that he's way up there as a credible witness. But that's just coming from me. Now, the whole presentation I made is not to pin Mr. Duterte for these specific crimes because I'm determined to pin him down through the ICC. And that's all I need. It's enough to put him away for life. But what I presented is to shatter that false narrative that he peddled to the Filipino people. Nagalit talaga siya sa illegal na droga. So if you'd be able to research on this Minister of Defense in Mexico, who, like Duterte, galit din sa illegal na droga, pumapatay din siya ng mga drug lords, pushers, only to be found out later that he was actually on the payroll of a preferred cartel. So the pattern is the same. Now, as for other witnesses, some of the lawyers here, members of the committee, kept on saying, what are the other evidence? What are the other evidence? So let us remember that the Duterte drug syndicate operated like a mafia. And similar to how mafias were destroyed, at least some of them in the US, isang whistleblower ang kanilang naging lead that took them to different pieces of evidence and witnesses. So yun po ang nakita kong value po kay Mr. Las Cañas.
Senator, one of the documents which you presented, should I say, or the information you shared, is about the huge amount of money received by the Duterte family,
Yes.
which, as alleged, came from drug money. Do you confirm this?
That is my conclusion, Mr. Chairman, because again, the way these syndicates operate, wala naman pong mga resibo ito, wala naman mga CCTV na makikita tayo. Ito po, circumstantial. Lahat po, because I cannot explain kung saan po nanggagaling itong pera na ito na pumapasok po periodically. Yun po, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, do you have any pending case against the Dutertes pertaining to this information about the bank deposits?
Meron po. I included that doon po sa aking plunder case na final way back in 2016. And as I mentioned, because of this plunder case that I filed in 2016, yun po ang naging basis ng overall Deputy Ombudsman then to request from the AMLAC documents, and that led him to issue that statement that the contents of the documents that I had are similar to the documents they got. So sinasabi ko, hindi nanggaling itong dokumento ko sa AMLAC kasi nga po bawal yon, pero the contents are the same. And that's all that matters to me as an investigator, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, please pardon me, but I'm a little bit confused.
Yes.
Because if you are alleging that the bank deposits are drug money,
Yeah.
then why plunder? Is it not that when we file a case of plunder, it should involve government funds?
Yes. Yun nga po yung sinasabi ko. Back in 2016, we were stuck in this paradigm na hindi siya involved sa illegal drugs. Kaya when the name of Sami Uy was being flagged, we were assuming all sorts of things. Pero meron pong mga pumapasok doon, and ang information namin, part ng mga ginagamit na pera ni Mr. Duterte sa Davao is yung peace and order funds niya, which run into, at that time, around 730 million pesos per year. So similar to the pattern or what is used by the Vice President now. So meron silang ganong pondo. So that was the early assumption based on the existing paradigm at that time. Pero nung lumabas na si Mr. Sami Uy ay involved pala sa illegal drugs as mentioned by Mr. Las Cañas, then it shifted we revisited the bank accounts and concluded that these are drug money.
To clarify, Senator,
Yes.
you mean to say that when you filed the plunder case back in 2016,
Yeah.
your theory is that the money is government fund, particularly coming from the Peace and Order program
Yes.
of Davao City? No,
Davao
that was
City.
2016.